Good evening. We are sore. The gym is kicking my butt. I am so tight right here and my shoulders. We did legs today though, but I'm not used to having the bar on my neck. I'm sore, guys. I'm sore. Let's get into it. Let's do our disclaimer. I hope y'all day going well. I hope everybody day is going well. I have a little bump coming up right here. Y'all see it? I don't know if it's on this head. It's coming though. It hurt. It hurts a lot. It hurts a lot. We have some things to talk about too. We have some things to talk about. We have to talk about Columbia University accreditation. Yale is finalizing a sale, and bigger schools are just facing problems slash layoffs. And this is getting wild. It is getting wild out here. It's getting very wild, guys. So let me. Disclaimer: the videos presented here are for informational purposes only, and therefore, if you are to choose to attend an institution, please do your own research and consult with a specialist at the institution you are interested in. I am not a financial aid specialist, academic advisor, or representing any institution. Speaking on behalf creator Henry is only speaking from his experience. So, you know what that means. And let's get that out of the way. Okay. Okay. Columbia. I hope I said it right. Columbia University. Let's see. First thing is first. So I seen this post on LinkedIn. And you know me, if I see it on LinkedIn, I'm going to go verify on the Department of Education Department of Education website. So it says, this is what it says, but they talked about their accreditation. They said in May, Education Department and the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. Don't do this, mouse. We do this every day. Hold on, y'all. We do this every day with these mouses. All right. It says in May, Education Department and the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services found Columbia University violated federal anti-discrimination law by failing to protect Jewish students from harassment. Today, the Education Department is reporting this violation to Columbia's accreditor, the Middle States Commission on Higher Education. What does that mean? Let's find out. I'm not even sure what that means exactly. Because they're talking about accreditor. And when I hear accreditor, I hear accreditation. But I don't know if that means accreditation. So we have to go check this out and see if they posted it. Okay, they did post it on their website. Hopefully it has more information. Yes, it has more information. I got long, my eyelash. Yeah, I got long eyelashes. They be hurting me sometimes. So, the U.S. Department of Education's Office for Civil Rights today notified Middle States Commission on Higher Education. The commission that is, somebody comment? Oh, I need to be in the control room. Let me go to the control room right quick. Ooh, we already getting busy. We got some news. Hey, we usually don't get news back to back like this. I guess they heard us saying we need some news. We need to get some information. We need to hear something. We need some posts. They need to post it. We gotta talk about it. Give us a few seconds. Views going up on the Santa Ono, if I pronounced that name correctly, or the last name. I know I said the first name right. When I googled it, that's how it's perceived to pronounce. But that video is doing pretty good in views. Make sure you like and subscribe on that, because that's going to make the views get the message out, and word of mouth. Word of mouth is just as powerful as a like and subscribe. So let's go to, we need to refresh this computer. I'm going right back to it, guys. Feel free to fast forward, or if you're jumping in, just setting up a few more things. Are we there? We're just waiting for the confirmation from the chat. Not the chat, but showing us. Perfect. Boom. So, as we said before, the United States Department of Education Office for Civil Rights today notified Middle States Commission on Higher Education. The commission, that its member institution, Columbia University, is in violation of federal anti-discrimination laws and therefore fails to meet the standards for accreditation set by the commission. That word. To the president, I'm not going to try to pronounce that right now because I often never say that word, so I'm not going to try to pronounce it. I'm not going to do it to myself today. But per President Trump's executive order, reforming accreditation to strengthen higher education, the department has an obligation to promptly provide accreditors with any non-compliance findings related to member institutions. They're talking about the Omaha's October 7th, 2023 terror attack on Israel. But specifically, they said Columbia University leadership acted with deliberate indifference toward the harassment of Jewish students on its campus. So I'm still trying to figure out how does this affect the students, not the students, but the accreditor. So are they taking away their accreditation for violating the anti-discrimination? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Are they not going to be accredited? Columbia University is a very Ivy League school, guys, if I'm not mistaken. And so, real quick, before we keep going, I'm going to look up Columbia University because I'm pretty sure that is the Columbia University they're talking about. Close that out. We need to close some of this out. Close that out. Excuse me. So yes, this is the Columbia University in New York. They're private and they're a non-profit. Barack Obama went to this school. Julia Stiles went to this school. Alexander Hamilton went to this school. Brian Dennehy went to this school, if I pronounced that last name right. And so, as you can see, the Trump admin claims they violated the Jewish students' rights, but we're going to get back to that because we're trying to figure out, is their accreditation being stripped? Because that's such an Ivy League school, right? And so the commission standards for accreditation requirements of affiliation state that a candidate or accredited institution possesses or demonstrates compliance with all applicable government laws and regulations. In light of OCR's determination, Columbia University no longer appears to meet the commission accreditation standards, if I read that already. And it talked about, once again, Omaha's October 7, 2023, terror attack on Israel. But let's fast forward through some things. Just as the Department of Education has an obligation to uphold federal anti-discrimination law, university accreditors have an obligation to ensure member institutions abide by their standards, said the U.S. Secretary of Education, Linda. Y'all know Linda McMahon. That's our person right there. We gotta pay attention to Linda. They say we look forward to the commission keeping the department fully informed of actions taken to ensure Columbia's compliance with accreditation standards, including compliance with federal civil rights laws. So, and then it has like a law right here under 34 CFR 602. It's like a little thingy for law. Point 20. We're like low key law students sometimes, guys. We're like low key law students. It says the accreditors are required to notify any member institution about a federal non-compliance finding and establish a plan to come into compliance. If a university fails, if a university fails to come into compliance within a specific period, an accreditor must take appropriate action against its member institution. Once again, an accreditor must take appropriate action against its member institution. So it says on February 3rd, 2025, OCR initiated a directed investigation of Columbia University to examine whether the university discriminated against, enabled the harassment of, or tolerated violence against students and faculty on the basis of their Jewish ancestry in violation of Title 6. That looks like Title 6. 5.1, that's 6. Title 6 and its implementing regulations. So this is definitely Title 6 of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 prohibits recipients of federal funding from discriminating on the basis of race, color, or national origin. This is, I need some experts. I thought this, I don't know. That's out of my realm. Once again, guys, out of my realm. That's out of my realm. But what is not out of my realm is we're going to find out about this accreditation. Are they going to script their accreditation? That's what we want to know. That is what we want to know. So we need to know. We need to find out that. Let's find out. Where is it? That quick. So we need to find that out. So we're on the whitehouse.gov, which is also known to be credible. If it's coming from the White House, it's credible. Can't argue with the White House. It's what they say what goes, no matter if you like it or not. And so it says section 1. This is the executive orders. This was April 23rd, 2025. Section 1 purpose. A group of higher education accreditors are the gatekeepers that decide which colleges and university American students can spend which colleges and universities American students can spend the more. Why they got an error in their grammar. I'm gonna read it one more time. A group of higher education accreditors are the gatekeepers that decide which colleges and universities American students can spend more than $100 billion in federal student loans and Pell Grants dispersed each year. The creditor's job is to determine which institutions provide a quality education and therefore merit accreditation. Unfortunately, accreditors have not only failed in this responsibility to students, families, and American taxpayers, but they have also abused their enormous authority. Accreditors routinely approve institutions that are low quality by the most important measures. The national 6-year undergraduate, so they're talking about this statistic. This is a very common statistic. The national 6-year undergraduate graduation rate was an alarming 64%. So that meaning it took you 6 years to graduate undergraduate. So the national 6-year undergraduate graduation rate was 64% in 2020. Further, on really, depending on how they want to measure it, if it's supposed to be 80 to 100 or higher, 64 apparently is not good enough because it took them 6 years. It's a high number that took students 6 years to graduate. It took students, because we normalized it at this point, that students graduate in 6 when you're supposed to graduate in 4. So 64% is pretty high for you. It's like I said, you have what's 64% out of 100%. You have a 64% chance of, yeah, I said it right. You have a 64% chance of graduating in 6 years. And so if you break that difference of that 64%, you have a less of a chance of graduating with your degree in 4 years. And so many accredited institutions offer undergraduate and graduate programs with a negative return on investment. My goodness, that is so true. That is so true. I'm glad they're highlighting that. A lot of research, when being in graduate school, a lot of research doesn't talk about that. They do not talk about that. I'm going to read that again. Many accredited institutions offer undergraduate and graduate programs with a negative return on investment. So, once again, I'm not even going to use the teacher example. If you go to school and you're going to the wrong school, if you don't go to the right school, you're going to have a negative return on investment. So, colleges, if you notice, like I said, colleges have been using selling tactics to get students instead of trying to present the truth to students. This has led to this negative number, and now schools are suffering. This is what I've been talking about. They don't like to hear this when I go on interviews, because I focus my research on student loan debt. But they're pointing it out. According to the whitehouse.gov, that's apparently this is why Trump signed this executive order. And like I said, we are nonpartisan. We admit the truth. We look at the truth. So if you had I'm going to give an example of a program. So if you go to school for, I'm not going to say teacher, but if you went to school to be, sorry for my art students out there, I'm sorry. So if you went to freaking a Ivy League to do art, for example, right? It's a high chance that you're going to have a negative return on investment. According, I'm just giving you an example. I know art is always like, I wouldn't go to school for art. I wouldn't go to school for art. I can do art at my house. I can go to school for something else like business. So the accreditation schools that you probably don't know that's accredited. Some schools you probably don't even know they're not accredited, but you should know that a school is accredited or not accredited. They have been giving you a negative return on your money. They said it themselves. They said almost 25% of bachelor degrees and more than 40% of master degrees, which may leave students financially worse off in enormous debt by charging them exorbitant sums of, I hope I said that right, exorbitant sums for a degree with very modest earnings potential. So, like me, for example, guys, I'm gonna be honest with you. I went to school, I got my two associate's degrees, general studies, human resources. Then I went to school for organizational leadership for my bachelor's at Valdosta State. I talk about it all the time, right? Columbus Tech, Valdosta State, shouting my schools out right now. And now I'm in my master's right now at Georgia State University. To start with the 2 year, it didn't cost me that much to get those 2 degrees. But I wasn't expecting to really step in a job personally. I just never been a person to get a job right away. When I interview, it takes me multiple times to get jobs. Don't ask me why. I don't know. It takes me multiple times. Like, I have applied for, and I got the proof. I applied for all strictly higher education jobs. Some not, but mostly higher education. I have applied for nearly 50 plus jobs, and I will make it to the second round or final round. I gotta do like 3 interviews in higher education. So I could do good in the first two. If they don't like me in the last one, I won't get it. Or the second one, I won't get it. It's crazy. And so I have not jumped into a job paying. Personally, I have never had an income paying me 60K. And I have had a return on investment per graduating college. Why? Because I was budgeting my way through school. I picked schools that was gonna give me a good education, hopefully, and I was gonna be able to get a job when I graduated. They gave me a great education, but I guess according to employers and what I believe, higher education is like K through 12 sometimes. It's not valued the same as like tech or engineering or these other fancy school title jobs that's high in demand right now, right? So I still got a great return on investment because for one, I went to schools I could afford. And then once I left those schools and I took a job that's like, my most has been like on the safe side, 48K. That's been my most so far in my career. And so that's a great return on investment for me because I don't have student loans. Now I do have to pay off a car like we talk about, but I ain't got that much left because I'm very good at budgeting and living on less than I make. So if you're choosing a school, once again, you're going to an Ivy League for art, yeah, you're going to have a bad return on investment. So you spent about 200K. Ivy League gonna run you about 200K easy. Definitely 150K plus. Six figures easy. So you're going to definitely lose money on that art degree unless you just come out the gate with clientele who love your art. Rare, right? So they're saying, I don't know if they're scripting people's accreditation. I don't know that yet. I have not seen nobody saying, "Oh, I haven't seen it in here that we're taking their accreditation if they're not, I guess, prestige or helping students because now they're getting into the DEI. I don't know if you're going to take the school's DEI. You're going to take a school's accreditation because they support DEI. I'm not sure, but graduation rates, performance in the labor market. They're talking about some other stuff, but it's not. They're not being factual. They're not bringing the numbers. They are talking about the American Bar Association Council of the section of legal education and admissions to the bar. So this, for my law people, this pertains to them. If you got to take the bar, it's the American Bar Association's Council of the section of legal education and admissions to the bar (parentheses council), which is the sole federally recognized accreditor for your Juris Doctor's programs, has required law schools to demonstrate by demonstrate by concrete action a commitment to diversity and inclusion, including by and committing to having a student body and faculty that is diverse with respect to gender, race, and ethnicity. Once again, it's not my area of focus. I don't too much want to talk about that, focus our energy on that. Um, if students can feel like, hey, I didn't get in because of that, but in reality, students never know why they don't get into schools. Schools don't even tell you why you get in or don't get in. And I would need some more expertise in that area, somebody who focuses on that. I'm not going to speak on something I haven't researched personally. And we spent time on that in graduate school, but it wasn't my strong suit, right? My strong suit is talking about why students are not getting a great return on investment. That is my bread and butter. Why are they not getting a great return on investment in school? And why are you not telling them like, hey, this is what you could be expecting when you graduate realistically? That's my problem, right? And so that is about the Columbia University. I don't see anything stating that they're taking their accreditation. It's in jeopardy though. So if you plan on going to Columbia, if you know anybody going to Columbia, I would say reach out to them. They can know more. They're going there. But it said right here, Columbia failed to meet accreditation standards. This is all over the news. This is a big headline because it's serious because the administration, or not the administration, but the, where they have it at, they said today notified Middle States Commission on Higher Education. Let's go look that up. Middle States Commission on Higher Education. Because I heard of accreditors, but the Middle State Commission, I never heard of them. Not gonna sugarcoat it. I never heard of the Middle State Commission. And I'm gonna download this and bookmark this too. The Middle States Commission on Higher Education is a company. The Middle States Commission on Higher Education, abbreviated as MSCHE and legally incorporated as the Mid-Atlantic Region Commission on Higher Education. So they said Mid-Atlantic. Every region has different, if I'm not mistaken, has different commissions. Let's click on it. They have a website for sure. And I'm bookmarking this in my higher education research folder. They have conferences. Uh, Search our institution directory. So we want to see what they do. Wherever the Middle States Commission on Higher Education do, if they say, I don't know how this goes. I don't know if they say, oh, we don't see anything wrong with this. This is not a problem. This is not serious. They can literally say, like, we're not doing nothing to Columbia University. And I personally don't think they're going to do anything to Columbia University because they produce very much scholars. Once again, I said Barack Obama went there for my people who wasn't here earlier. He's a Noble alumni. He went there for law, if I'm not mistaken. And so, yeah. So we would have to look into that. We don't know much about it, but they haven't got anything taken just yet. But they're waiting. The Department of Education is waiting on them to see what they're going to do. And I'm already sure, and we already know, if the Department of Education doesn't like what they do, I think we know what's going to happen. We're going to see an appeal. We're going to see, oh, you're not credible, you're not accredited. We're going to see something. It's going to be a headline. So Yale is finalizing a sale. That sounds like a rhyme. Yale is finalizing a sale. Yale, sale. Get you some mail. I don't know. I've been rhyming today. With my hurt thumb. I had an ingrown nail, guys, on my thumb. And it hurts a lot. It hurts a lot. That had me down for the count. For a little bit. I took a nap. Okay. Yale with the sale. I have seen this. Bloomberg posted this, but let's see if we can get an article or something on it. Somebody speaking on it. Checking the live screen. Okay, I see 2 viewers in here. We got 4 views so far. Shout out to the 4 viewers and 2 of the viewers here now who have been here. Shout out to you. You always need a shout out, guys. Y'all here at 9. It's 10:33. Let's see. Yale with the sale. Yale to sell. Something about Yale is finalizing. Let's see. I don't know if it was really important finalizing their sale. It was about 2.3 billion, I think. Let's see. Yes. All right. Let's see. They said Yale nears a deal to sell 2.5 billion of private equity stakes. Where are my financial people at? If you know some financial people, hit them up. Tell them to join the chat. If they know anything about private equity and higher education, I don't know a thing about that. I'm not even gonna try. But what I am gonna do, I'm gonna talk about it and see how it affects everything. That's what I am gonna do. There's a lot of finance in higher education. Once again, they have a lot of money. And that's going to lead to our last topic about these bigger schools facing money problems because the Trump administration is cracking down on them. Because he's like, hey, America need money. Higher education, y'all got a lot of money. And these students ain't really graduating like they supposed to with jobs and stuff. So look, y'all finna have to pay up. Y'all been sending on a lot of money. I wonder, are the presidents and executives gonna lose, or are they gonna get a pay cut? Haven't heard anything about that. You know, out of all these higher education professionals, I post on LinkedIn, I post on X. A lot of higher education professionals say they left X. But the fact that I post on LinkedIn and I'm not getting no conversation started with none of the higher education professionals, they're not putting their perspective in to help build a community of like, where are we going? Trying to build a conversation. But they talk on fancy panels where nobody can really interact with them. It's a little weird for me. It's a little weird. They're being weird. And they wonder why things don't get done. So they're being weird. I be wanting them to talk to me, but they don't want to talk to me, guys. It hurts my feelings. So, According to Yahoo Finance is credible, guys. First and foremost, at least in the finance world, Yahoo Finance, I like to go on them for stocks and look at companies' balance sheets. Well, not balance sheets, but like companies' facts, certain type of statistics and data. Yahoo Finance is good for that. So the fact that this is on Yahoo Finance is free as well. So if you see anything finance related to higher education and it's Yahoo Finance, you're in a great spot, great space and spot. So it says Yale. I said Yahoo. Yale University is finalizing the sale of up to 2.5 billion. We already said that. This was today on Wednesday. The Ivy League school endowment. Yes, they have a lot of endowment money. They need to give me a raise. Give me a raise, Yale. Y'all got in that endowment fund. Ivy League schools endowment is in advanced talks on the portfolio sale. Code name Project Gatsby. With an overall discount expected to be less than 10%. Bloomberg News reported, citing people familiar with the matter. In April, I don't know how to pronounce this, Reuters. If I pronounced that wrong, forgive me. Reuters reported that Yale was exploring a sale of private equity fund interest, and was being advised by investment banking firm Evercore. The sale discussions includes a so-called Mosiak. I can't wait to get back on the other computer, guys, because I need help pronouncing these words. It's like M. I'm going to put the word in the chat. That's what I'm going to do. And y'all help me out. Y'all going to be like, this is how you pronounce it. I'm going to show you the word so you know what I'm talking about. That's how we're going to do this right now, because I can't play the sound on this monitor. I'll show y'all this word. That's the word. That's the word right there. So if y'all know how to pronounce that word, shout out to you. Shout out to you. So Mosiak, it's called a Mosiak deal that allows buyers to cherry pick specific investment funds they would like to acquire, and multiple buyers, including Lexington Partners and Harbor Vest Partners. Yes, Harbor Vest Partners have assessed the portfolio, Bloomberg said. Yale University and Lexington did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Harbor Vest declined to comment. Okay. That doesn't give us nothing though. What they mean, they get the cherry pick. Right there I'm looking at, they said this allows buyers to, first we're gonna look up a Mosiak deal, if I said that right. Because I never heard of that. This isn't higher education. This is not banking. This is higher education. That is a big like eye opener, right? Let's see. So the Mosiak theory in finance involves the use of security analyst personnel to gather information about a company or corporation to evaluate and determine its financial stability. Are they saying Yale is not in good financial health? That's interesting. I don't know, guys. I said, what is Mosiak in finance? I'm gonna say Mosiak model of business. It says the Mosiak model is an extension of these three questions. It is a framework for addressing macro and micro business issues. Oh, I don't know. It seems like Yale is having money problems, which I don't understand. Once again, one more time. Oh, I'm going to Investopedia right here. All right, guys. I'm not a finance person, but sometimes this leads into that if you want to have a successful. And then you were wondering here, how does this affect me? If you go to Yale, some people might go to Yale who might see this, and they need to know this. I personally wouldn't go to Yale. That's a little far. I don't even know where Yale is at, but we definitely can look up the price of Yale. And if they're having money problems, be careful. If they're having money problems, be careful if you're going to Yale or plan on going to Yale, because as a student, not Yale is not going to close down. Let's be clear about that. If they do, I'll be surprised. But Yale ain't closing down. Yale is like a blue chip stock. They're not going nowhere. But what you should worry about, Yale raising their prices. If you don't have money, you're going there. I'm pretty sure like the average student who goes to Yale, their parents got good bank. You can go look it up. Um, a lot of schools are not going to put this is a fact. They say it don't matter, but it matters. A lot of schools are not going to put students in their school who can't afford to pay for the school. They're not going to do that. That's why a lot of wealthy people go to these bigger schools because they can afford them. And so just keep an eye open for that. Might be a reason. It might be a reason why you got turned down for a school because they might feel like you couldn't get enough loans to finish out, which can hurt their retention rate, and it can hurt their initial enrollment rate. Like you start, but then you leave, and like they have different type of statistics for enrollment. So like they have first year enrollment, then that's when the retention come in. Then they have, oh, you were supposed to come here and you didn't come here. They have to report all of that for data. So we are on Investopedia. If you want to learn anything about finance terminology like I'm doing right now, I just wish I can hear and pronounce this word because I never heard of Mosaic. And I believe that's how you say it. Um, we are talking finance a little bit, but I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just looking up terminology, and you never know when you might see it again. And I write stuff down because you might have to come back to it. And so once again, according to Investopedia, defining the Mosaic theory of financial research. I'm going to scan through it. We're not going to sit on this long. So the Mosaic theory refers to a method of analysis used by the security analyst. Once again, that is what Yahoo Finance said Yale is doing. That's what they're doing. They're going through a Mosaic to potential investors. So potential investors have a chance of investing in the school private equity to help the school get more money, to fund more money, to help the business operations of the school. They put the money in. This lets the school do what they need to do to keep the business operations going in the school. So, hey, like they said, less than 10 partners. Hey, maybe you can help us with, we need, this how much we need. I don't know how it looks, but I'm assuming like this how much we need, You give us 5 million, probably gonna be more than that because let's go back. Hold up, they said they're selling. So not buy, sell. So yeah, sell 2.5 billion of private equity. So they're going to get ownership. Equity is ownership. So they're offering 2.5 billion in ownership, just like an NBA team, right? An NBA team is valued at what? NBA, NFL might be valued at 1.5 billion. And then they say, hey, we're offering 1.5 billion of equity of the team. Mark Cuban sold his team. He sold majority private equity stakes of his company, of the Dallas Mavericks. So a casino family bought it up. And so when the casino family bought it up, they got ownership of the Mavericks. Mark Cuban still runs it, but they got ownership. And so he got the liquidity of it, which means to sell all your assets and get cash value for it and take the cash value and go invest it in something else. So like rinse and repeat. So that makes sense. That makes sense a little bit right there. I had to talk that out with us. That makes sense. So how does the Mosaic theory works? If I've been saying this word wrong, if I have been saying this word wrong the whole time, y'all let me do this, I'm gonna get y'all. That's all you need to know. I'm gonna get y'all. There is an ongoing debate within the investment community as to whether this style of analysis misuses insider information. But the CFA, Chief Financial Analyst Institute, formerly known as the Association for Investment Management and Research, AIMR, the Association for Investment Management and Research, has recognized Mosaic theory as a valid method of analysis. Hedge fund manager Rajay, I'm gonna put his last name in there because I'm butchering it. I'm gonna call him Raj. That's what I'm gonna call him. I'm gonna call him Raj because that's a hard last name. This is his last name, y'all. That is his last name right there. Raj, that. So Raj used the Maziad theory as his defense during his insider trading trial in 2011, but was ultimately found guilty. The Maziad theory versus Scuttlebutt. It has butt in there. Scuttle. It looked like it would be shuttle, but scuttle. Scuttlebutt method. Maziad theory closely aligns with the Scuttlebutt method, a company analysis technique popularized by investment guru Philip Fisher in his 1958 book, Common Stocks and Uncommon Profits. I'm going to write that down. That's a book to read, or at least have on the shelf. Philip Fisher. See, guys, you see how keywords lead to more like down and rabbit hole things. Like that's what I like doing. And so when I was figuring out higher education, trying to figure this out, it kept leading me down a rabbit hole, and should have went to school for finance a little bit. Should have had like a minor in it so I can have some more confidence in that. But I like what we're at. And so it's a 1958 book. So key. And it's called Common Stocks and Uncommon Profits. Hold on right quick. Taking a little break right quick. All right. So what I'm hearing is that they talking about the 10K reports. A 10K report too, for if you ever consider investing. A 10K report is like a report card for companies. So companies have to report a 10K. But investors who have a proficient understanding of accounting concepts such as profit and loss statements and balance sheets can score the company's financial performance and anomalies. You can access 10K reports on the SEC. Google Trends. So that's pretty much it. But so the Maziad theory is a way to evaluate the company. And Yale is going through that. And once again, the close out, how does that affect Yale? That affects Yale by Yale needs to Yale students need to just be mindful that they're selling private equity, because when money gets involved and they're getting private equity, the school has to keep raising its value, just like anything. Let's be clear. Schools have to raise value. Point blank simple. That's why I said, like, I don't get mad at schools for making money, but I get mad at schools when they're not helping the students who's supposed to come get a valuable education. That's the problem. So if the private equity investors who are putting their money in don't see an increase in value, then they can pull their money out. Now they do have to wait a certain amount of, they have to wait like a, don't quote me, they have to wait a certain amount of time before they can just take the money back. So if they take the money, that hurts the school. So all my Yale people out there, you might want to find a little more about that. Hopefully your school could tell you if you're on the SGA community, SGA body at Yale. Look, hey, ask about that. That's serious business. They posted it for a reason. And so I think, yeah, they said the same thing. Yeah, he said the same thing. All right. And then lastly, we got bigger schools are facing layoffs. So I was on LinkedIn. I love LinkedIn, guys. LinkedIn gives you so much information. It's not even funny. They give you so much information. We're loading right now. So I seen, oh, y'all took me out my, y'all did. Fair game, fair game. Fair game, fair game. Computer going, buffering. Computer is buffering a little bit. I seen a post though. It's from a college. What's that college? Oklahoma. Okay, there you go. So it was a post from Oklahoma, which it's not specifically. This is not only about Oklahoma. This is about schools. Like they're really not talking about this. Schools are really going around. This including 2 years, but schools are really going around as if nothing is happening, which is hilarious because that's potential jobs on the line, and not only for them but for students. Once again, it always hurts the students. If employees get laid off, students don't get the help they need, which hurts students. That can lead to students being in school longer, paying more money, not getting that mental health check-in like they would like, not getting what else, the resources they need. It can lead to so many factors, right? So my computer took me back again. Okay, I guess my Wi-Fi ain't working right because now we're buffering, and I really do need it. It's like, just take me to it. Don't be picky. I appreciate the patience. Appreciate the patience. Must be no dark. Must be clouds, because it was just working smooth for us. It's like, no, we don't want you to, talk about this, but we gotta talk about it. Here we go. Yes. Okay. So Oklahoma athletics. Let's talk a little bit about that. And I don't have to click on it. I'm not reading all of that, but it says Oklahoma athletics is firing 5% of their staff. This is just the first wave of layoffs in the new rev share era of college athletics. And the proof that even the most established programs would suffer. So if you haven't heard, I know everybody watch college sports. You're probably getting ready for college football, probably getting ready for college basketball. You're probably getting ready for college lacrosse, soccer, swimming, gymnastics, right? Um, but college athletics have gone into a business model. Yeah, they have went to a business model. Like college athletics are treating their college programs as a professional business. So like what that means exactly, to me it means I would hope my eyelash again, y'all. I would hope personally that means their business is gonna run more efficiently. Very opinion of me, because nobody really knows. The only people who know are the ones who work in it, and the NCAA in this aspect, because because college athletics, I believe a large share of that revenue goes to the NCAA. So NCAA really knows more about this. These are just people opinions on LinkedIn, because LinkedIn need to be like who's credible. They need to separate from the regulars. And so, because I know a lot of people talk about higher education, but they don't really focus on it. They focus only on the finance part of the higher education. They just focus on finance or NILs. But in this aspect, they did layoffs at Oklahoma University. The Sooners. They did, yeah, the Sooners. They did that. So they said despite breaking, he said, his name is Parker Graham. He said, despite breaking fundraising records and increasing efforts, it wasn't enough to save them from the doom of the income and revenue share model. So he's talking in a financial terminology once again, right? And so I don't know really how to take that. Are athletics getting more money but spending more? Like, how do you still lay off people? And we know college sports make a lot of money. And he says many of us saw this coming as college athletics shift to a professional business model, but it should be taken seriously as a sign of what's to come for schools across the country. Now he said, he said a broader budget reassessment. So, well, once again, schools need to reassess their budget. They need to do a better budget. Staffing cuts is only one of the pieces of the puzzle. Programs will have to reassess and cut costs anywhere where they can in order to benefit the bottom line and stay afloat. Schools are in debt. It seems like a lot of debt. Financial pressure is taking effect now. What we have seen for a while as future problems are now present problems. Exactly. Even the most developed programs feel the weight. The financial pressure of this new era will not only affect the underdogs of the college sports world, it will impact the big dogs too. It's time to get creative. We need innovative solutions fast. Programs need to think outside the box and create sustainable new revenue models. So, this guy is talking similar to us, right? And that's related to athletics. So, if athletics is struggling, imagine what regular colleges, how they're feeling, who just, get the tuition from the students, donors. They rely a lot of schools. I don't know how heavy. Never seen a business model, but you can look on it. It's in their physical year of whatever college you go to. It's public record. We don't know the business model of these schools, and once again, how this affects you. Your school could be on the verge of. We might see some potentially established schools shut down, like in the coming years. I do believe the value of higher education is going to go up. That's my thesis. But at the same time, some schools might shut down in the process, which makes the higher education more valuable because it's only going to be a select few of schools you can go to. Now I'm just talking, but this is where it seems like it's going. Higher education doesn't like hiring. I'm 26, but I have yet to see people my age really stepping into roles that can help or be innovative and try to pitch in ideas to make a change. So stagnation is going to be there immediately, right? Um, Higher education not really adapting to AI just yet. Could in the next few months if they were that savvy enough, but I don't see that happening. Why? Because it's an older generation working in higher education. I'm kind of bombing on them right now, but it's true. The older generation works in higher education. They're scared of technology from experience. So what that means is that are they really gonna be open to AI? Like, hold on, you want me to bring in AI and that's gonna take my job? What are you doing here? So their thing is gonna take their job, and AI is not really gonna take your job. It might replace some people, but it's really going. You just need to learn a skill. Simple as that. So Oklahoma Athletics, well, Oklahoma Sooners, which is, I'm going to highlight that. I believe it's Oklahoma University. Let me see. Oklahoma, they just say Oklahoma Sooners. What's the name of the college? Lord. The University of Oklahoma. The University of Oklahoma. I don't know why it was like, it just went straight to sports, because I guess they're only known for sports. Um, yes. And so they were not the only ones, but let's see what else we got on here. We're not even at an hour. Are we? No, we're not even at an hour yet. So that was one of them I seen. Let's see if we had any new posts. That was one of the posts I saw earlier. Shout out to you if you've been here this long. I seen we had 2 people most of the time. Let me see if we had some new people come into the chat. Yes, we had 5 people come in here total. Shout out to us. That's good, y'all. We've been going 7 people. Okay, updated. I lied. So thank you for the 7 people who came and got some information. Make sure you share it, because you don't want to be left out there in the middle of nowhere, right? At least we're talking about it. You have an idea. Um, you know, you're not going to get this from the professionals. They think it might hurt their careers and jobs, but it's going to hurt their jobs anyway. I don't know why they insist that it's not. It's already taking effect. So, actually, right here, the U.S. Department of Education pressures accreditor to act on Columbia University. Inside Higher Ed just posted that 24 minutes ago. Shout out to them. They've been on it. What is it? Yeah, he's that guy though. Yeah, shout out to Dan Ives. If you don't know who Dan Ives is, now you know. DAN space IVES. Shout out to Dan Ives, man. He's that guy. He is that guy. Let's see, we got some information. Just before we go, this one might be a little shorter today. I like to go on LinkedIn. It's try to get some things before we say anything. Somebody posted this from California, guys. Let me know. Let me know if you're in this area or you know somebody in this area. They said California Faculty Association seems pretty credible. The California Faculty Association has played a crucial role in salary and benefit reductions for faculty and staff. During contract negotiations, for example, the CFA typically agrees to salary increases that do not keep up with inflation. That's true. So they're talking about faculty not getting paid what they should get paid. Of course, we know inflation has outpaced salaries, but out there in California, I bet it's crazy because California is very expensive. I got some family out there. Um, that's nothing. So LinkedIn doesn't really have much, and then on the closeout we do our school. So we got three schools to choose from. We got Yale, because we talked about three schools, guys. We talked about Yale. We talked about Columbia. And we talked about Oklahoma. Let's see. Yeah. So, and I really don't think it's is. So, yeah, I don't see any new news, guys. Not really. I think we hit everything that's recent. And so, oh wow, this is getting crazy. Yeah, they gonna do some time for that. All right. What school should we choose? Yale, Columbia, University of Oklahoma. I can ask you in the chat. If you don't respond, it's okay. I don't think nobody's in here right now with us. You still had 8 people to drop in. Better than when it was just us. So where is it? We're gonna do the college scorecard. I'm trying to figure out still between doing the president salaries or the college scorecard. Depends on the mood. But we're gonna do the college scorecard again. Let's ask ChatGPT. Yep, we use AI in this business over here. So I'm gonna give AI a chance to choose. I'm gonna say, AI, which school should we close out with? Let's see what AI thinks. Which school should we close out with? I'm gonna say Yale. Then I'm gonna say Columbia. Then I'm gonna say University. Okay. Chat said we should close out with the University of Oklahoma. They said it keeps the message grounded, relatable, and connected to the broader discussion on state funding, trio cuts, and public education. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. So, University of Oklahoma. University of Oklahoma. I bet I feel sorry for somebody, whoever got a tour at school and keep saying that over and over, because they might be just like the Sooners. We are the Sooners. They might just be like that. That's a lot to say over and over. My shoulders again, y'all. Tensing up right now. Where are they located? Norman, Oklahoma. Okay, that's the one we're looking for. Okay, so as always, the graduation rate at this school, the University of Oklahoma. Hold on, guys. My earpiece is trying to come out my ear for some reason. Weird. I'm gonna do this. So, graduation rate at the University of Oklahoma is 69% on the U.S. Department of Education College Scorecard. The midpoint for the four-year college is 58, not for the college, but the midpoint for four-year colleges is 58%. Oklahoma surpassed that with 69%. That's good. The average annual cost at Oklahoma is the average annual cost will cost you $17,413. So that's very close to the midpoint, the common like average of what other 4 years charge you. But let's make sure, we got to fact check that. Sometimes the college scorecard be on estimate, and so we want to really make sure. So what we're going to do, we're going to calculate Oklahoma University tuition and fees, and then it's a very simple. It's a little work, but it's simple. Tuition and fees. I need that link. There we go. You type in Oklahoma University or any college, type in any college, and make sure you put space, tuition, and fees. Every time you say tuition and fees, it's gonna take you there. So I'm assuming you're a resident. If you want to go to this school, please don't be a non-resident. Be a resident. Non-resident is gonna cost you a lot more. So there's a little funky. As I would say to anybody, I don't like when schools do this. So the way they did it, they already factored in you staying on campus, but they also factor you staying off campus. So I don't really have to do much calculation, but I still like to calculate my tuition per credit hour personally. I do. I love to do that. But they said the undergraduate resident will pay in tuition $5,220. So right there, simply 5,000. Slide that over. $5,220, because I'm assuming you're staying off campus if you're a resident. That's gonna cost you $10,000 in your first year there. Now, if you're relying heavily on Pell, I advise you not to go here, because your Pell is not going to cover you for one semester. It's not even going to cover you for the year. You're going to be short. So, and then your fees. Oh my, is that accurate? Wow, their fees at this school is $9,000. $9,000 is $9,363. That's their fees. So you're looking at a loan in one semester, and they weren't lying. That's pretty accurate by the Department of Education College Scorecard. They said 5220 plus 9,000. Now, granted, they didn't specify if this is together. Now that I'm thinking about it, that's why I don't like when schools do that, because that could be a misrepresentation of the school. If somebody sees 5,000 immediately, they're gonna think, is that for one semester or 2 semesters? See, they don't specify, and then I have to figure that out, right? Or we have to figure that out. So let's go see. Let's see if we can find that. This might take us a little time. Costs. I'm gonna find it for you. I am going to find it, guys. Hang it up. Sorry about that. All right, I found the tuition and fees. So full-time undergraduates. Boom. So okay, we found that. So hopefully you can see me talking, guys. Hopefully I'm moving again. Oklahoma residents are looking at 2610. So we're going to cut that. Of course, when we put that into a smaller video, you're looking at 2610. Because I was going to say 9,000 in fees. That's a little crazy. That's a little crazy. I had to really like, hold on. So they're saying for residents, you're looking at 2610. Oops. You're looking at 2610. So you're looking at 2610 times 2, 5220. That's where that 5220 comes from. Thank you. There we go, Oklahoma. I like that. That's very good prices though. 2610 to go to this school, that's very good prices. In tuition alone. But you have to factor in the fees. Always factor in the fees. Do not forget about the fees. Always factor in the fees. And so the fees are $2,243. That is crazy though. So never mind. These are not good prices. You're looking at 7,000 your first semester. So if you're a Pell Grant student, always start with Pell Grant because a lot of students are on Pell Grant when they go to college. A lot of students, and so your Pell Grant is going to be gone your first semester. Your first half of your Pell Grant is going to be gone. So yeah, and if you are a non-resident, I advise you not to go there because they're going to charge you. They're going to charge you tuition. Then they're going to charge you an additional non-resident tuition. Apparently, ouch, and that's a lot. You're looking at 13,000 for one semester. That's a lot. So that's the tuition and fees. And remember, guys, if you stay on campus, that does not include on-campus housing. And they actually separated the programming technology per credit hour at this college. So if you're doing a certain type of major, they're charging you a lot more on the per credit hour. They gave us the general estimate, like the general tuition. So please, 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 please be careful when you're evaluating Oklahoma, the University of Oklahoma. And as I like to as I like to say, they got fields of study on here. We don't need that. We always focus on the cost, and what they say is pretty accurate with the 17 grand, but you're looking at I would say you're looking at more than 17 grand because on my calculator, what we got 7,000 if you stay on campus. Yeah, that's about accurate. You're looking at about 17. And then we like to go to, they say typical, I still have not looked that up, guys. I'm gonna look that up tonight. They say 78% of students earn more than a high school graduate. 78%. And if I'm not mistaken, you're looking at an estimate of $63,000 when attending this school, or after you attend the school and go get a job in the career field, you're looking at 63,000. So test scores to get in, they have a 77% acceptance rate. I bet they do. With those prices, I bet they do. So and they didn't. I don't think they had their retention rate on here, guys. on this one. They got the graduation rate, the acceptance rate. I don't know how they do. I guess their retainability. Oh, it's right here. Students who return after their first year, 88%. That's pretty good. Considering their prices, that's pretty good. The 88% of their students return after their first year. So 69% graduates, 22% transfers, 8% withdrawal or withdrew, and 1% still enrolled. I don't know what that means, still enrolled. I guess you just going to your next grade level. So, yeah, my hair look fuzzy. It's fuzzy, guys. I would say that's really it for the University of Oklahoma. Um, the University of Oklahoma wasn't really much spectacular. I didn't like it once we got pretty far calculating their prices. But if you have had a great career, or yeah, if you had a great career in your job upon going to that school, please let us know in the comment section about the University of Oklahoma. We would like to know the Sooners besides their sports. We would like to know them for their academics and like how people are doing in career fields who don't play sports. So if you went there, let us know. If you said the prices are expensive or depending on the person, how you feel, let us know. But the University of Oklahoma, I personally wouldn't go there. These prices are a little crazy. If I transfer, it depends because they separate all the per credit hours. And so that is all we have for tonight. Let's check the one more thing. Shout out to the people who joined the live stream. We had, is this the updated version? We had 12 people drop in with us. Thank you. I really appreciate you dropping in. And so we will see you all very soon again.